Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Plus Plus. In this video, we will discuss about ECMAScript or ES6 2015 new features and syntax improvements in JavaScript. Basically, this is a frequently asked question. What does ES6 in JavaScript interviews? So in ES6, or you can say in 2015, we have a new features and syntax introduced in JavaScript to make it more powerful and easier to write and maintain complex applications. So what are these new features? Let's discuss one by one. We are not covering all the features, but we are covering the major features that we use in our day-to-day life. So first is let and const. So let and const are used for declaring variables and constant. So but the similarity between let and constants, both are used for declaring block scoped variables. Let is used for block scoped variables and constant is used for block scoped constants. We will just look at it by seeing this example. Let's say I have a variable let a equals to 10, and we have another variable in another, you can say, in a different block. Let's say I have declared a block and I just, for your understanding, I just put a condition true. It means it will always execute this block, and in this block I have declared the value is equals to 13. So simply outside the block I have defined the value of let a equals to 10, and inside this block 5 and 7, between block 5 to 7, I have declared the value of a to 13. And if I want to console this value using console.log, I will get the value 13 because it is defined within the block. So because it is defined within the block 5 to 8, sorry, so it will print the value a as 13 because it is simply a block scoped. So we are get the access of block scoped a, so it is 13. And if I define this value outside this block, so I'm getting 10 because it is now coming, the variable a is now coming in the outside block, or you can say that the block within the whole browser, let's say from 1 to all the things apart from this block. So if for your understanding, I just put into the block like this. So now we are getting the value 10 because it comes in the outer block, and it is and within this block the value is a is 13. So this is the basic understanding what is basically a block scoped. Here we console, if we cut this up console and paste here, then we get the block value of a from within 6 to 9, we have a block value 13, and if I used outside this block, then we get the outside block value of a, that is 10. So similarly you can use this concept and you can try to understand constant by using the same concept by yourself. The second feature is introduced is arrow functions. To understand the arrow functions, traditionally we used to write the functions like the, let's say, function and the name is let's say add, and we have a 2, within the parenthesis we have 2 parameters, let's say a and b, and in curly braces we are just returning the addition of both the parameters a plus b. And for calling this we have to write console.log to printing the value, and for printing the value and calling a plus b and a comma b, and let's say I just took value of a is 12 and value of b is 10, and then I'm getting 22. To perform the operations, making a function and taking out arguments, we used to write this whole code. So but now in ES6 improvement we have introduced arrow functions. So simply arrow functions is, let's say I have defined a variable constant, a const that is z, and it is equals to the anonymous function. Anonymous function, or you can say arrow function, means functions don't have function syntax and function name. We can use directly the parenthesis to accept the parameter list. So we are accepting 2 parameters a comma b, that is our parameter list, and if we have only one operation to perform, we can simply use an arrow function and we can write the operation directly here, a plus b. We have to perform a plus b, so when we can write a plus b directly, and then we can call this function by using z and passing the value, that is 1 comma 2 to it, and we can print the value of z. And if we call the value, print the value using console.log, then we will get the value of z, that is 3. So here you can say that we are getting the value 3 from here, and for your understanding I just comment this console, so we are getting the value 3. So you can see that previously we have to write 3-4 lines for calling the, for declaring a function and printing its value. We have to use 4 lines, but now with the new syntax, we just do the same operation within the 2 lines. First for declaring a function and doing all the operations, and second for printing the value. So this is basically an arrow function that is introduced in ES6 improvement. Okay, now let's move down to a next feature that is introduced, that is template literal. So template literal is basically introduced to give a clear understanding. Let's say in previously when we have to append, or you can say concatenate 2 strings, we simply used plus operator. Let's say we have a 1 2 3, we have a string variable a 1 2 3, and we have a variable b is basically QWE. Let's say if we have to append these 2 variables or concatenate these 2 variables, we have to do like this. Let's say equals to a plus b, and we get the concatenated result. But sometimes plus operator is confusing, but because it is also used for addition. To avoid this confusion, or to remove this confusion, we have a template literal in JavaScript that is introduced in ES6. By using this, we can append different variables, to us to our string using backticks. Let's say I have a string b, that is I can enclose it using backticks, and then I put my variable, let's say dollar and curly braces. We can use dollar and curly braces to enclose our variable within the string. So I can write a, so it means basically QW is appended to variable a, and by using dollar and curly braces, we get the proper clear understanding that within this a is a variable that is enclosed within this dollar and curly braces. So we get the proper understanding. And if we have a different kind of string, we can append the other variables also using dollar and curly braces, like b, c, and other variables if we have. And if I print this console this b, then I will get the whole string, that is QWE 1 2 3, because a is defined as 1 2 3. So basically dollar curly braces a is replaced by the variable value, that is 1 2 3. So by this you can easily see that it gives us the clear understanding that here we are basically appending, QW is appended to a variable a, that is 1 2 3. And previously we used plus operator, but it is more confusing for us because it is also used for addition. So that's all from the template literal. And the fourth feature that is introduced in ES6 is classes. As we use classes in different programming languages. Basically classes is you can say that a template for holding functions or member variable functions and variables. Let's say I have a class and I just write the name of the class. I just declare the name of the class is store. So we can declare the class by class keyword, and we have to write the class name, that is store, and we use curly brackets for making the block of the class, or you can say this is basically a template. Now we can define our different functions. Let's say I define a function output, and in that output function I'm just simply consoling a single value, console.log, that basically hee-ha. I just writing hee-ha. First of all, if we have multiple functions, let's say I have 2-3 functions, more functions in it. Let's say I have another function that is output 1, and in which I am consoling, let's say 1 2 3, and I have to access the different functions of this class. So I can have to create the object of that class. For creating the object of that class, we have to store it in a constant. Let's say I have to store the object of the class in const p, and for creating the object of the class you have to use keyword new, and the class name is store. So I have to write like this. And now by using the const b, we can access the different objects, different, you can say, functions of that class by using dot operator. So you have to use write b and dot. I have to use output. So I just write output functions. So basically the object b can now call our output function. And if we console, we don't have to console because we already defined the console here. So you can get the output here, because in output we have already defined here. And if I output change to output 1, then we get the value 1 2 3 because it is defined as 1 2 3. So this is the class concept that is introduced in ES6 JavaScript. And now the next thing is destructuring. Destructuring is frequently used. This considered two types of destructuring: array destructuring and object destructuring. So in array destructuring, let's say if we have an array A is defined as 1 2 3 4. So array destructuring means basically we are declaring the different elements of array to a variables. We are basically appending the different values of an array to variables. Let's say if I define let x comma y and equals to a, it means I want to declare variable x to the first index of array A and y to the second index of array B. So if I console.log the variable x, I will get the value of 1 because I just destructure this array and assign to the different elements of the array to the variables x, that is 1. And if I have to print y, then I will get the 2 because I have destructured this array and assigned y to the second element of the array. So this is basically a simple array destructuring. For the same, we can use object destructuring, and for this we have an object. Let object name is x and the name is let's say tag plus plus, and src is, you can say that, YouTube. So we have this kind of object. For object destructuring, we have to use objects to destructure this array. So we can write let objects a comma, and one more thing is that we can destructure the object with a key name only. So we have to use name because we cannot use the third name, or you can say that any kind of name. We have to use the key name only. So we can write name and we can use second is src and we can write it is equals to x. Now if we print console the value of name, it will print me the tag plus plus, because name is basically attached to the first key value of the first key, and src is attached to a second name key value. And if we have let's say if we only define src, then we will get only the value of src here. So basically this is the object destructuring. The difference is that here we can use any kind of variable name because we have values only. So we can use any kind of variable name. We already have predefined values for it, but here we already have key and value, so we have to use key as a variable name for destructuring object. So this is the basic difference for object destructuring and array destructuring. The next feature that is introduced in ES6 improvements is default parameters. So previously, whenever we are using a function, let's say using function a, and we are consoling the value of a, and whenever we are calling this the firm function, we have to define a parameter, let's say 12 parameter, and we will get the result 12. But there is a chances that user just call the function and didn't define any kind of parameters list. So then we get in that case undefined. To avoid this kind of mistakes, or to handle these kinds of mistakes, we just use default parameters, or we can say that user can add a default parameter to our list. To use default parameter, for using the default parameters, we can use a equals to 10. So it will automatically takes default parameter, that is 10. But whenever we define the parameter, so it will not take a default parameter, it will take the parameter that we have passed, that is 14. So it will take 14. And the next is rest and spread operators in ES6 improvements. So the next is rest and spread operator. So rest operators, the rest parameter syntax allows us to represent an indefinite numbers of argument as an array within a function parameter list. So we will understand it by giving you a simple example. We will understand it. Let's say if I have an array, let a equals to 1, 2 and 3, and we have another array, let y equals to 4, 5, 6, and I have to basically append to these two arrays. So we can simply use the spread operator, or we can I can just simply write $$a. It will basically append these two array into this array, and if I print this both of these array using console.log y, then I will get the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I basically spread the array A using the three dot operators, and we will get the values in array y. And if I console this, I will get all the values 1, 2, 3 up to 6. Similarly, we can do the same operations to when we have to perform the same kind of operations in the function parameter list. Let's say if I have a function and we are expecting a parameter to be in a function, let's say $args, and we have to basically console.log. let's say for here I just write any random, so we can write our parameters as the function name should be SSS. So we can write SSS, and we can pass 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say we have a multiple parameters, so we can use rest operator. So this is the use of rest operator. So whenever rest operator, and this is the use of rest operator, and this is the use of spread operator. So basically rest operator are useful ways when we want a function to accept any number of arguments and process them as an array. So in here function SS wants different any number of arguments, or you can say that it different number of arguments and process them as an array. So then we can, in that case, we can use rest, and for using rest we can use 3 dots with the parameter name, that is args. And and similarly for spread operator, for creating a copies of array and objects, combined arrays, and expanding literal objects into arguments. So these, I think both of these examples are clear to you. There are many more JavaScript ES6 features and updates and JavaScript ES6 2015 update, and you can learn it by yourself. I have listed only 7 of them. Rest of them are like promises, symbols, set and maps, and different type of array functions is introduced. You can study by it yourself, and if you want a dedicated video, you can comment down in comment section. I will make a dedicated video of any of the listed topic. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, like this video for upcoming JavaScript and different languages learning. Thanks for watching this video.